Braunfels Economic Development Corporation, approving a project expenditure not to exceed $3.5 million to the City of New Braunfels for construction of the Zipp Family Sports Park, a project authorized under 505.152 Texas Local Government Code, and declaring an effective date. Ms. Matney.
Mayor, City Council, good evening. Thank you. Tonight we are here for the final action item for the additional EDC expenditure for the Zipp Family Sports Park. As a reminder, we had an initial project budget of $25.7 million, 10.7 approved by the voters in the 2019 bond, and then $15 million initial commitment by the New Braunfels Economic Development Corporation. As you are all aware, we started to have some concerns about the budget of this project. We had some inflationary concerns and some site constraints that added to the project budget, and so we found additional funding and presented that to the City Council in November of 2022. You can see here outlines of the additional $10.9 million that was added to that project for an updated project budget of $36.6 million. In November of 2022, we also received direction from City Council to move forward with the construction manager at risk process for this. And we started working with Spa Glass in March of 2023, and that started a very intense 90-day process of identifying areas where we could value engineer, reduce the cost of that project, and get us back closer to our initial budget, or I should say our updated budget. So when we first started working with through the CMAR process, we had a $14.7 million deficit with that new budget of $36.6 million. Between staff and City Council options, we were able to value engineer $12.3 million out of that. We did at our retreat on July 6th with the EDC and the City Council, we received direction to retain the turf and irrigation and a revised landscaping plan, which kept in $3.3 million, which gave us a new deficit of $2.4 million. At that same retreat, we also received direction to add $1.1 million back in for contingency, because that's one of the areas that we reduced in order to try to balance that budget, which left us with a funding gap of $3.5 million. We received direction again at that same retreat to go back to the EDC and begin public presentations for the EDC to fund that $3.5 million gap. These are some examples of why we made some of the decisions that we did. On the left, you can see a non-irrigated field outside of the playing surface, non-irrigated and turfed. And on the right, you can see the same turf in the playing area and outside, and both irrigated. Again, I want to remind you these pictures were taken in June when we had a lot of nice rain, and so the difference, I think, would be even more staggering at this point. And then another reminder for the initial planting budget, which is something similar to what you see at Fisher Park, which is on the left, and then what we decided to go with, which was a modified about 50% of the costs for the updated landscaping plan. So, I'm sorry, this slide I thought I had updated, but I did not. So we did have the public hearing with the EDC and action on the 3rd of this month. That park board presentation was actually canceled. I believe it was due to lack of a quorum. Tonight we are taking action with the City Council. On Thursday, I will be updating the sports groups with the plan moving forward and answer any questions that they may have. And then on the 29th, we will have a full open house meeting for the public, any players and parents, and then anybody in the neighborhood, anybody in the community who's interested in that project. That will be at the food bank. The one that is this Thursday is in the Tejas room. And then, of course, we will have continued updates to the City Council, the Parks Board, and the Economic Development Corporation. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Just have one.
Yes.
When are we going to get started?
We expect to break ground in the fall. I should also mention that the additional $3.5 million for the EDC is last in, so that's only if we need that funding to finish that project. There is, of course, some statutory limitations to EDC funds, and there's sort of a waiting period, but we are moving forward with that project because it will be the last in. So we are working diligently on the last parts of design, and then we hope to break ground in the fall.
Thank you.
Have a big party.
Big party. Any other questions for Ms. Matney? Okay, we'll open it up to public comment.
David Warmke, District 5. Wow, I learned something tonight. I thought this started 6 years ago. I saw a little twinkle in our former mayor's eye at a Stomp Tish meeting. What we really need is a sports park. And the next year, a relative of that mayor negotiated with the city and representing the landowners to buy that land property. So the land wasn't bought until 2018. I didn't realize it went back to a 2013 bond package. So I learned something tonight. They wonder why it took so long. Now we come to where it pops up. $55 million, I think, is what the initial number is in 3 phases. The first phase is like $29 million, and everybody that I talk to in the know, it doesn't make any sense. It's the wrong project, it's the wrong place, it's the wrong kind of people that are going to be working there. It doesn't bring in high-income jobs. There's nothing that makes sense about it. The infrastructure's not there, the road's not there. Nothing makes sense. I write about it many times, and I actually have quite a collection of stuff that I've written about it, and I've never found anything that made sense on it. The need, initially it was a marketing thing that we're going to bring in all these different outside businesses and they'll spend money, and then I had people on the 4B that said, no, we changed that, and then people said, no, we're not. It is changed and muted so many times, and there's never been anything but a stench associated with it, and the way it was handled and the way that has gone forward. You know, my last endeavor in this was last July, a year ago, when we were doing the bond package, and suddenly it was like $20 million we were looking for, and I dug into that, and that apparently was for grading. The best answer I got on that. You know, why would you put a sports park in some place where the land is graded? It doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes any sense about this. And now we have massaged the numbers, I understand many contentious meetings about trying to get the numbers to work. And I guess it's going to go through. But wow, do you really want to hang your hat on this? Because I don't think there's anything that really good going to come out of this. You compare and contrast the DOS Rec, and you could build 2 DOS Recs for the money that we're doing here to benefit a lot of people. You know, there was a presentation by the Westons came here. The lawyer, the Westons, and 3 did a presentation, said, you know, we can do it on the property right on 35 for $10 million. No, it didn't happen. Now, I understand there may be some issues there with being able to take the land back too quick, but I don't know. But there's never been anything that is good about this. And there's a whole lot there. And I think you really need to think about what you're voting for, what you're rubber stamping if you vote to approve the money. And what are we getting? And we're getting 12 parks. I think it's softball, soccer, and football, I believe. I'm not sure what, 3 or 4 groups of each. But the cost per park compared to the ones we have now is a pretty high cost. And it's a location that seemingly is very expensive to build in. If you had just picked a flat spot, it would have made more sense. And if you had a flat spot adjacent to I-35, you could handle the traffic. And more traffic. Yeah, we need more traffic. We need people coming in for tournaments on the weekend, but we don't have enough traffic here in the summer. We need to bring some people in to play sports traffic, and it's just nothing fits. It doesn't make any sense as far as a plan that integrates with where our community is going and where we're going. And, you know, I would really like a full expose on what we're really going to do before we vote to do this. I mean, it sounds like we sort of have got it figured out, but what is it? It has had so many iterations and so many changes. I think we really need to have a presentation to the public on exactly what we're talking about getting. Is it something that's going to benefit the community? Is it something that's going to get a sponsor from some outside state that's going to come in and we're going to bring in income? You know, it's had so many different hats put on it. So what are we going to approve now? We don't really know. I think we really need to know. So I would request you guys postpone voting on this till we get a presentation on exactly what you're voting for, because it hadn't had a good history. Thank you. God bless you.
Any other public
By
comment?
the way, last thing at the end of a city council meeting, I've seen this game before. And when you want to slide something through, you put it at the end of the meeting. There's nobody here. We don't have a blog. I don't write much anymore, but I'm still like 80 percentile people come read my blog. I'm going to start up a new section of the blog, which is things slid through at the end of city council meetings. And I'm also going to do a section on there that has everything I've written about this sports park, that I've written a lot over the years. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Warmke. And just to be clear, the voters twice approved the sports park, and this is some value engineering that the EDC has decided to put funding back into the park if we so approve it.
Mayor, I would like to add a couple of things, if I
Sure.
may. I do want to state that this has, of course, been a very difficult project for all of us. And our transportation and capital improvements team, led by Gary Ford, has done a tremendous amount of work, and I am very proud of the work that they've done, not only in a very quick turnaround value engineering and really helping to find some of those things to help bridge that gap, but also in selecting the right contractor for us during this process. Spa Glass has been a tremendous partner throughout this process. I also would like to give some credit to the Parks and Recreation team, led by Chad Donegan. They've been tremendous during this process, and the IT team, led by Tony Gonzalez as well. And I feel the need to state we have had more public presentations on this project than I can count. I have given most of them. We have had public presentations specifically over the last 3 months, and then over the last 9 to 12 months as well. And again, I would invite everybody to come to that August 29th open house that will be held at the food bank. We are putting out communications about that right now. We're going to do some targeted advertising to the neighborhoods specifically. Our communications team is working on that right now as well. And so I do invite everybody to come to that open house to get specifics about the
Ms. Madden,
project.
is this information available online?
Yes, sir.
It is? So
I'm not sure if the August 29th one is up there yet, but
But as far as the design of the sports park and all that
100%,
stuff? Okay, yeah.
yes.
I also feel like I have sat through countless presentations on this that were all public, and I feel very comfortable with what I'm voting on. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, well,
Stereo.
My district.
Councilman Campos moved to approve, and Councilman Spradley seconded it.
No, give it to his.
All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.